Hi, this is The Business Guy, and today we'll be interviewing attorney Jordan H. Jordan. He's an asset protection expert. He's in Florida, southern Florida. He lives pretty close to me. We also have worked together for a number of years, and we're both with Lawyers Limited. And so if you want to talk to Jordan, you can go ahead and call Lawyers Limited, ask for Jordan, and he can set you up an asset protection plan. And a great guy. I think you really like him. I think you really get a lot of good out of his wisdom. I'm excited to introduce Jordan to you. Jordan, how you doing today?
I'm doing outstanding.
Great.
So great to be here with you in sunny South Florida.
It's a pleasure. Well, I have a question for you. Now, you're also a physician. So how do you think being a physician helps you help clients?
Well, first of all, I have a small business background. I've owned many different small businesses. But in particular, when I was running a medical practice, I felt I became a target for aggressive plaintiffs and aggressive lawyers trying to hit me up because I was a doctor. Once you accumulate a certain amount of success and a certain amount of assets, it's actually almost counterproductive. You know, unfortunately, in the United States, 90% of the world's lawsuits are filed. And what a coincidence, 90% of the attorneys are in the United States by no mistake.
So let's say you run into a client that needs asset protection. Let's say it's a fellow physician. Let's say that somebody came into his practice, slipped and fell on purpose because they thought he was a deep pocket. Tell me what the first thing you would ask that particular physician.
Well, the first thing I want to know is what the situation is. You know, is somebody just threatening a lawsuit? Have they actually gotten an attorney? Have they sent them a letter demanding some sort of settlement or recovery? Are they in litigation? I really want to know what stage we're at to see how fast we need to set up a great asset management and protection program. That's number one. Number two, I need to find out the areas of vulnerability. Let's say a judgment creditor is successful. Even though the doctor hasn't done anything wrong, you never know what's going to happen in front of a judge or a jury. So what I want to know is, what can they get? If you had a pre-existing asset management protection program, there may be nothing that a judgment creditor or an aggressive lawyer could do. In that case, we don't really need to do that much. On the other hand, if you're vulnerable, let's say, for example, you have a house. Oftentimes, people don't realize that there's limited asset protection on a home. For example, in Florida and Texas, you have 100% asset protection on your home if you're within a half an acre in a municipality. But in other states like Pennsylvania and New Jersey, you have no asset protection at all. And if a judgment creditor gets a large lawsuit against you, they can actually take your home, sell it at a court auction, send you and your family out of the house. So I need to know, do you own a home? Rental property? How many companies do you own? Do you own a LLC? Do you own corporate stock? I need to know if you have any crypto. A lot of people have cryptocurrency accounts. A lot of our clients have antique car collections or jewelry collections or gun collections. All these things can be attached. However, if we build an asset management protection structure, we can lock it down, and we have some great bulletproof programs. But the first thing is to find out what the doctor or somebody else actually owns, and don't make it a target.
Right. So let's lay out a scenario. Let's say this physician has been good with his money. He's put a little aside. He's maybe 60 years old, and he has a $5 million stock market portfolio. Let's say he owns 5 rental properties plus his home, and he's in New Jersey where they have no homestead protection at all. Well, what do you do for a guy like that?
Certainly in that situation with all those assets, most probably going to recommend a offshore structure, most probably in the Cook Islands. The Cook Islands Trust is the strongest asset management and protection trust in the world. Reason being is the Cook Islands trustees don't comply with foreign judgments. So if an aggressive lawyer or plaintiff gets a judgment against you here in the United States, and they try to take it to Cook and domesticate it, the Cook Islands trustee, who is our licensed, bonded, and insured law firm, is going to say no, because they have a fiduciary obligation to protect you, the client, and they're not going to comply with the United States judgment. In addition, inside that Cook Islands trust, we're going to put a Nevis Island LLC. And the reason why we use a Nevis Island LLC is because it's the strongest asset management and protection LLC in the world, and it gives you full control of your assets. For example, if somebody wants to get at your assets and undo a lien or mortgage that you may have in your property here in the United States, they'd have to go to Nevis, pay a very expensive attorney, and they don't work on contingency fees, and they'd have to file a $100,000 court filing bond. Now, over the last 30 years, we haven't seen anybody go to Nevis and file a $100,000 court filing bond. In addition, they'd have to pay your attorney's fees, they'd have to pay their attorney's fees, and then have to find two attorneys that don't have a conflict of interest. Well, in the island of Nevis, they're all conflicted because it's a very small island. They're all members of the Nevis Island Bar Association. They play golf together, socialize together, and it'd be very difficult to even have a lawsuit in Nevis. The third thing that we do is we issued you a line of credit on everything you own. And in exchange, you'd give your Nevis Island LLC a mortgage on your real property, which we would help you file in the public records, or we would give the Nevis Island LLC a UCC1 lien to file a security interest in all your personal property. And at that point, it tells the whole world, the judges and the lawyers, that all these assets are encumbered. We strip out all the equity, so we make it a non-target. And once a lawyer finds out that everything you own is bulletproof, I'm a civil trial lawyer, I've been a civil trial lawyer for about 25 years, I would tell my plaintiff, hey, look, I know you have a great case, but there is no pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. 90 to 95% of the time when the attorneys find out that there's no equity in what you own, they'll drop the case, which saves you enormous stress and thousands of dollars.
So with the equity stripping strategy, just playing devil's advocate, let's say the judge says, hey, these mortgages that you have against these 5 rental properties on your home, and the UCC1 is payable to an entity that's really your entity. What do we do in a case like that?
Well, this happens all the time. There's nothing illegal about using your own company to put a HELOC or a UCC1 lien on your property, because it's not really you. It's a separate legal entity with a separate EIN. So if you have an LLC in Nevis or even in the United States, you control it, manage it, but it's really not you. And this is something that happens all over the United States. It's perfectly legal in every jurisdiction in the United States, and there's plenty of case law to back that up.
And the nice thing is we have this third-party lender that can purchase those liens. It can purchase the mortgages, the UCC1 lien, and put the proceeds into the client's offshore trust in a you can't touch it account. Now, naturally, the client won't be able to run away and spend that money. That would be too risky to the lender, but it shows that this loan has been purchased from the client's Nevis LLC into a separate third-party LLC the client has nothing to do with, and the client has received the bona fide proceeds. So therefore, these mortgages against these properties are now transferred to a third party, and the client pays a reasonable interest rate of, say, 2%, which is the difference between the interest paid on the proceeds and interest charged on the mortgage amount. So that way, the mortgage can be transferred to a true third-party lender the judge can see, and there's really nothing they can do. These loans are now truly payable to a third party. So how effective is this?
Having a Cook Islands bulletproof trust is the most powerful asset management protection structure in the world. In fact, we've been setting these structures up for over 30 years, and it's never been pierced, and it's never failed any one of our clients.
Yeah. Now, somebody says, well, hey, Jordan, I just saw you guys online. How do I know I can trust you, Jordan, personally? Not the company, but you as a person. How do I know you're a good guy?
Well, I think I am. My mother thinks that I am, and I've been an attorney for 25 years, and I've been through the fire. I've walked over the hot coals before. I've been in situations where aggressive plaintiffs and aggressive lawyers were attacking me. I've been through a divorce myself. I've had people try to take all of my assets, try to bankrupt me, and I would do anything to make sure that never happened, not only for me, but for my clients as well. When my clients are suffering from the pain of a lawsuit or the threat of a lawsuit, nothing would really bring me more satisfaction than making them bulletproof and really giving them the peace of mind that I've had over the years being a licensed Florida bar lawyer and protecting my own assets. It's a great deal of satisfaction to help people keep their hard-earned money and protect it from a lion, tiger, bear, or vulture, because that's what they are.
Okay, so you obviously have tremendous passion, and you really care because you've been through this. You can empathize with the clients. And what about the company? How do we know people can trust Lawyers Limited as an organization?
Well, over the last 25 years of being a lawyer, I've had the privilege of working for many, many different law firms. I've been around the block. I've been in customer service for 30 years. This is by far the greatest company that I've ever had the privilege to work for. The CEO of the company is brilliant. The philosophy of the company is fantastic. We have customer service departments in my opinion, second to none. We have an international legal department, an international new company department, an international banking department, an international customer service department that were literally bend over backwards to help you fly straight. This is a fantastic company that really cares about people. I would love to be a client of this company, and I would refer my family and friends like I have to this company because everybody cares so much about the clients, not so much about the money, the money, the money. It's just really a joy and a passion and a lot of fun working with this company. I'm really proud that I work for Lawyers Limited.
Another question we get sometimes is, how do we know our law firm in the Cook Islands or Nevis isn't going to run off with our money? They're going to run. What if they run off with our money? What do we tell people in that case? What if the people are worried about that?
Right. Well, our Cook Islands law firm, it's our licensed, bonded, and insured law firm. They've been doing this sort of work for about 30 years now. They're heavily governmentally regulated. If they don't follow the rules and the government law, they could lose their license. Our Cook Islands trustee law firm has a 100% fiduciary obligation to protect you and the client. And if they don't do that, they'd have an ethical dilemma with their own governmental agency. And again, they're licensed, bonded, and insured, which totally protects you and the client.
Yeah, and I have a personal relationship with our law firm trustee for 26 years, and I must say they handle billions and billions of our clients' dollars. If you look up the most ethical countries, the least corrupt countries, tied for number one is New Zealand, and of course Cook Islands is part of New Zealand, so it's the most trusted jurisdiction in the world. Now, what about the person who says, well, I don't know, Jordan, I really need to be convinced at a really high level. Let me think about it. Let me scratch my head. Let me talk to my cousin Bobo. What do you tell somebody like that?
Right. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that don't kick it around too long. I found over the last 25 or 30 years that very, very successful business people, they're very decisive. They get the information, they do their research, and they make a decision. When you have paralysis through analysis, you tend to overthink things and you start to question things. And all the success that I've had in my own life has not been stuck on a decision. It's either yes or no. And we did some research about 6 or 8 months ago that showed that the average business person in the United States has an 8.014% chance of either being a plaintiff or a defendant in a lawsuit every single year. And the average person, the average business person, will be in 6.45 lawsuits in their lifetime. So the odds are against you that you're going to be in a lawsuit. You can't wait, because once you wait till the lawsuit is on your desk, they'll freeze your assets. I'm really passionate about trying to inspire people and motivate people to make a decision and be proactive. Always err on the side of caution. Get yourself bulletproof so you never, ever, ever have to worry about some crazy person taking your hard-earned money. And don't live your life working as hard as you can and have all this low-hanging fruit for some lawyer or an aggressive plaintiff to pick off the tree.
And it's almost like you as a physician, when somebody delays treatment for a health issue and then it becomes irreparable.
Yes, I used to tell people that all the time. People used to say, well, the pain is not so bad. And then I would say to them, these symptoms that you have, they're early warning signs. It should be like a blinking light on your head going, that there's something wrong. Now, the longer your body stays inflamed, the more likely you can get scar tissue in that organ. And if you have scar tissue in that organ because you waited too long to get to a doctor, by the time you get to a doctor, we can't help you. Don't wait. You're not a doctor. You need an expert. So in your business life, when you hear these, little signs and threats and warnings, these are warning signs, and you feel uncomfortable about it, take action. Give us a call.
Yeah, going from driving a Mercedes and living in a fancy house to drinking your wine out of a paper bag, living under a bridge, it's not a good transition.
I mean, if you're a man out there, especially, or you're in a marriage and you're the breadwinner, and you don't have a asset protection program, you can wind up losing everything. The law says that you're entitled to 50%. Your lawyer may even tell you you're supposed to get 50%. But I've been doing this for 25 years, and I'll tell you, the breadwinner and usually the man will wind up next to nothing.
So what's your parting shot? What would you like to close with? What would you like for people to know who are watching?
I want to, thank you for this great opportunity to get the message out. I want to get the message out to everybody. I want everybody to be in the same position that you and I are. We know how to bulletproof our assets. We know how to fly underneath the radar, so to speak. We know how to make ourselves non-target. This is genius. We have some really genius strategies out there. Everybody should find out what their budget is and allocate a certain amount every year to asset management and protection. There is no purpose or no smartness or intelligence working your life every single day, showing up at meetings, buying properties, selling properties, buying businesses, and doing all these great, wonderful things, knowing at the end of the day that some unscrupulous lawyer or a plaintiff is going to come along and sweep it all up. This is the most passionate company to work with in terms of helping you and everybody, your friends and your family, in getting a great asset management and protection program. It's absolutely essential in today's aggressive environment.
So if you want to get a hold of Jordan, go ahead and give a call at 1-954-400-1050. Ask for Jordan, and it's Jordan H. Jordan, attorney at law. He's passionate about what we do here, as you've seen. So you can go ahead and give him a call, and he's glad to help. Jordan, thanks so much. I really appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. Thank you so much for this great opportunity.
Okay.
Have an outstanding day.
Okay, talk soon.